Hey there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative. My project today is a birthday card that I made for my niece that uses the Art Impressions Gator PopCard dies along with several other stamp sets. So for the background of the front of my card, I am using the Hero Arts Tribal Stripes bold print stamp. It's a new stamp from Hero Arts. I love it because this is my kind of design. But to stamp it, I am going to use my Distress Oxides. So I am first taking Wilted Violet and I'm stamping it across sort of the top edge, and I'm being sort of purposely random and not too straight. And this is Broken China, and so I'm overlapping the Wilted Violet a little bit and then going down further. And then this is Cracked Pistachio, and I'm doing the same thing. And as I'm overlapping them, I'm trying to make sure that I don't just go in a straight line. I'm trying to be sort of ragged. And then I am wiping off parts of the colors with a baby wipe when I'm thinking they get too, large. Because it's a little tricky with those ink pads to get it in a thin line. And so Worn Lipstick was the last one. So Fossilized Amber, Spiced Marmalade, and then Worn Lipstick. And so now I'm just pressing it down really well with my Misty. And then I'm going to peel it off, and that is the background. And I thought it turned out really, really fun. Really liked how colorful it was. I like the rainbow effect. Now here is the Art Impressions Gator Pop Card stamp set, and this set comes with the stamps. It also comes with the dies because they are designed to be like pop-ups on the inside of a card. So you have several pieces that you stamp of the gator body in order to create the pop-up effect. So to color him, I am using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers and some water with a brush. And I colored his body parts all the same way. So I'm using 40 green as my sort of dark green, and then I will just kind of pull that out with some clear water to just kind of create shading where I drew it in, and then it gets lighter as I pull it out. And then I'm going to go over that with 41 light green to sort of take this pretty blue green to more of a yellow green, because I wanted him to be kind of more of a yellow green looking gator or crocodile. And I will call him both interchangeably, even though I do know those are different animals, but it is what it is. So I'm going to color all of his body parts exactly the same way. So basically the 40 green are the shadows, and then 41 light green are the lighter parts. On his belly, I do wind up adding some 45 pale green. And then on his feet and his arms, I do put in some 44 deep green just to make those a little bit more olivey and darker than the rest of him. Now, I do make a couple of mistakes on this card, and this is the first one. So you see there, I colored his whole body there green, but he's actually wearing a shirt. And I didn't realize it at the time. And even when I was coloring it, was like, why does he have these lines on his arms? That's so weird. I did not realize that was supposed to be a shirt. So you'll have to pardon my sort of brain dysfunction as I was coloring it, but I do wind up fixing that later, and I fix it much later, so hopefully you will get something out of my fix. Now for his mouth, I used 26 light pink and 25 pink for shading, and that was the inside pieces colored. Now for the outside, I'm stamping the croc from the Lawn Fawn Wild For You stamp set along with the little hat. And this, just like the other gator pieces, I stamped on Bristol Smooth Cardstock and colored the exact same way. Now for various accessories, I have die cut out several balloons with the Paper Smooches balloons dies, and I'm going to cover them in glitter. My niece loves glitter, so I had to put as much glitter on this as I could. So I covered these pieces with some Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive sheets before I die cut them, so they are stickers on the front once I peel off the backing. So I peel off half the backing, dip it in the glitter, then peel off the rest of the backing, dip the rest of it in glitter, and now I'm just burnishing it down with my fingers and cleaning up any excess with a Swiffer cloth. So the colors of glitter I'm using are yellow, peony pink, and then this is bright grape. And I will use the bright grape on the happy birthday as well. And the happy birthday is a die from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And then on the inside of the card, I'm going to die cut 3 more balloons and use the yellow, the peony pink again, and then I will use Diva glitter, which is a slightly different purple, for the 3rd balloon on the inside of the card. And the fun thing about this glitter, aside from the fact that it's gorgeous, is when you burnish it down, it's so fine that it doesn't hurt your fingers. Like, it doesn't feel like you're rubbing your fingers over sandpaper. It really doesn't feel like much of anything. So it's super easy to just do it with your fingers. And then that brings up the shine, and it shines like crazy. So I was doing this to satisfy my niece's glittery craze. Okay, so here's the front of the card. I have cut some balloon strings from some black cardstock using the string die from the Elizabeth Craft Designs Winter Mittens stamp set. I do this a lot with balloons. And then I have that sort of Polaroid frame that I cut from Lawn Fun Say Cheese again, and I did stamp #party animal on it, which is also from the Wild For You stamp set. This blue piece is just sort of a piece of light blue paper that has some like white distressing that I thought kind of looked like clouds on it. That was just in my stash. And that little grass border piece, that is a die that is coming soon from Elizabeth Craft Design. So it's a little preview. Don't tell anybody. But it should be out in the next week or so. It will be debuting at the Mixed Media event in Utah next week. Anyway, so sneak peek, don't tell anyone. Okay, so I'm gluing all that down, and then I'm going to put my little gator into the grass. And then I wanted the balloons to be kind of floating out of the frame. I just thought that was kind of cute, and went with my kind of rainbow background. So I put double-sided adhesive tape on the backs of my balloons, and then I am using Zig 2A glue pen to glue down the strings, and I'm feeding them all towards his mouth so that it will look like he's holding the balloons in his mouth. And I do take a Copic liner pen and draw the tails of the strings on the other side of his mouth. Basically just draw like 3 lines to match the 3 strings with the balloons, and then I just kind of thicken them to match the width of the die cut strings. So it was really, really easy, no special skill involved there whatsoever. And then that is the front of the card completed. And although it is very colorful, oh yeah, then his hat goes on his head. And I did cut a little slit in his head, like in between his eyes, so I could fit the hat in between there to make it look like I was really sitting on his head. But the front is pretty colorful, but fairly simple because I thought the inside was pretty crazy. Now, this is the PopCard template piece from Art Impressions that is a separate die that you need to purchase to use these PopCard stamp sets. And then here you can see I have die cut out the gator pieces, and they cut these slits into the body when you die cut them so that you can feed them onto that template piece. And then for the card base, you need to cut 2 slits that are 1/2 inch long, I guess. So they're 1/2 inch into the card, 3 inches down from the top, and then 1/2 inch apart. And then you just fold it to the inside to create that little pop-up stair step piece. And then you cut a separate piece of paper that is 1/2 inch wide by 2 inches long, and you adhere that to the top of the little pop-up stair step. And that is what's going to become basically like a lever to pull your like animal up to make him pop up when you open the card. So to piece together your gator, the tail just gets glued onto the body. So I use some double-sided adhesive tape for that. And then you're going to adhere, or not adhere, you're going to feed the body pieces onto the PopCard template piece, that little piece there. Now, don't do what I did. Don't put the nose on until the end. Just a little warning there. So I'm feeding the one piece of the template through the slits that the die cuts in the body and feeding it over the little slits that are cut in the template until I get him all the way onto the back slits. I guess that's what you call them. So the largest piece goes on the back slits. And once you get him all the way back there, you just press him down to kind of lock him into place. So to the very bottom of the top slit. And then the second piece, which is the shirt piece, goes onto the second set of slits. So you kind of follow the same procedure by feeding those two pieces with the arrows on the front through the slits in the body until you fit him into the second set of slits on the template piece. It's not really that tough to do, especially if you like feed the body to like the first slit, then push it down to get the front slit through the bottom, and then do the same thing to get it to the second slit, and so on and so forth. And Art Impressions has a really good video showing how to put the template onto the pieces that's really, really clear. So if I'm not being very clear, that's a great one to watch too. And then you can see the last piece was the head, and he just goes under the first slit, and you can see the little triangle pieces sticking out of his mouth to hold the whole thing in place. And then you just push the tab on the nose through the slit under his eyes, and I just taped that little tab onto the back, and that's all there is to the nose snout. He just kind of floats in place and covers up the little template pieces. Now I cut another slit between his eyes so I could feed the hat onto his head with a little bit of double-sided adhesive, and that completes the cute little gator. And then once we get him positioned on the inside of the card correctly, he will pop up once the lever is in the right position. So pretty cute. So you put adhesive all the way down the back of that flat piece on the very back of the template. And then I thought the lever needed to fit between the sort of slit in the body and the template piece, but I'm not sure that's actually necessary. But you do want to make sure that when the gator's flat, he doesn't stick out the side. So just flatten him down when you stick him in place. Then you put a little bit of adhesive on the end of the lever, because you're going to stick the lever to the back of his body, so that then when you open the card, it's going to pull him up and make him pop out, like so. Now I have made a mistake here, and as you will notice, like the card is not opening all the way, and at the time I did think it was strange, but I didn't realize that it was totally wrong. So I will fix that later. That was mistake number 2. Now here's my shirt fix. I cut out a second die of this piece with the die out of pattern paper. I added some shading with a Spectrum Noir IG2 marker, cut the arms off, cut that U-shaped piece out of the middle so it'll fit around the pop-up template, and then drew in like the elbows and the arm separation on the shirt with the Copic liner. Then I added double-sided adhesive to the piece that's already on the template, and now I'm just going to press this shirt down in place on top of the original piece, and you'd never know I screwed it up. And I was pretty happy with that. I thought at the time when I realized that I screwed it up that I was going to have to recolor the whole thing and take it all apart, but no. I wound up just figuring out how to fix it. And so I left that in because I wanted to encourage you to not give up. Like if you've realized that you made a mistake, there's probably a way you can fix it without having to redo the whole thing. So I encourage you to use your creativity to try to figure out solutions like that. I also wanted to add, I did add some Tonic Nouveau drops to the white polka dots on his shirt in White Blizzard to add yet more glitter. Now here I'm just adhering the front panel to the front of the card with my ATG gun. I did put a little piece of that matching polka dot paper over that pop-up step hole that I had in the card. And then I have adhered the happy birthday down to the left side of the inside of the card with my Zig 2A glue pen, and now I'm adding more glitter with my Tonic Nouveau glitter drops. So this is Aquatic Mist, which is a turquoise, and then I will use Sherbert Shimmer, which is a pink. And that coordinates with the 2 hats that I did in pink and blue on the gators. And it does make the whole front inside part very, very sparkly. Which, as we know, my niece loves glitter, so the sparklier the better. And then I just used the bottles to hold the card open while it dried. And that worked like a charm. So now I'm going to fix the lever problem. I'm thinking this isn't right. So I thought, what if I just folded it around that like pop-up step piece? Like what would happen then? Because the thing seems like it's too long at 2 inches. Well, so if I fold it down and then press it to the body, aha, then it works correctly. So that's what you're supposed to do. Fold the lever piece around the pop-up step and then adhere to the body, and it will do its magic by pulling the body forward, and it works like a charm. So hopefully you don't mind me leaving some mistakes in. I always think it's kind of fun to see when people screw up and how they fix it. So I wanted to show you that. There's a good close-up of all the glitter around the happy birthday and the cute gator. I hope that you like it, and I hope even more importantly that my niece Natalie liked it, because she should have gotten it by now. Happy birthday, Natalie! And I want to have inspired you a little bit to maybe try out those PopCards from Art Impressions. They are really, really fun. There are 4 or 5 other designs, so there's something for everybody, and not that tough to put together once I got the hang of it. So as always, there are supplies linked in the video description and over on my blog. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. I would love that. And here are 2 more videos that I've done for my niece's birthday cards in the past, so check those out. Thanks so much. Have a great day.